I am Francis George Onyango. I am a drug and substance abuse counselor and a psychological counselor. I have experience dealing with drug and people suffering from addiction. I also handle general problems. I would like to tackle the issue of addiction. Addiction is a brain disease, and as I mentioned, it's caused by drug, and usually we talk about drug of choice. When I say drug of choice, it's a drug that one is addicted to. It's important to note that often people become dual drug users or multiple drug users. They get addicted to one drug, then there follows another drug. Like they use a primary drug and use another one. For instance, somebody can use bang or cocaine, but his drug of choice is alcohol. When somebody abuses a drug, what happens is that it interferes with the brain. It changes the way the brain functions. And usually it is the reward system of the brain that rewards you. What happens is that when somebody uses drug, the pleasure of a human being's brain is interfered with. The pleasure that is produced, that is called the dopamine. Usually it's produced in a large quantity or a massive quantity. So when this is produced, there's pleasure that one feels, and the brain recalls this. And so one gets dependent on this drug because it has produced an eminent pleasure that one has never experienced. So the brain will record this. Now, what will happen in the brain in the normal way is that when it is abnormal production of dopamine, then the brain will adjust the production of dopamine. Just as when you enter a room when there's a loud music or loud voice, the brain will try to reduce. So whoever is suffering from addiction will have less of dopamine. Will be struggling to get the normal pleasure. And so this drives you into what we call tolerance. Tolerance is a state where increased amount of drugs are used. Like one wants to receive the same high by using more of this drug. We call this the tolerance state. And so in this level, the drugs are increased. And so not everybody becomes addicted. There are people who cannot be addicted. The people who are addicted are called people who have what we call the X factor, that we don't know where it is in the brain. They also inherit it. So it's a question of genetic predisposition. So when you are predisposed to this, then you're likely to get this kind of disease. And so it progresses from one stage to the other. And when somebody is addicted, or when you have less of this pleasure and you realize you have a problem, then you have maladaptive ways of coping, which causes addiction in general, but also invites other disorders. And so an addicted person is not a criminal, it's somebody who is sick, who has a problem with the brain. And so there's the rehabilitation process that one gets into. So the awareness of drug addiction is to help us understand how to help. And the common secret is the desire to quit. And so young people of late in this country have been found to be in this kind of a situation. And what do you do when you're in this kind of a situation? You seek help. And a lot of people self-medicate in the beginning of the addiction phase. And then this gets into other phases where you hit rock bottom and sometimes you're taken into breakup. So addiction as a primary illness can cause other problems. And the common problems are like schizophrenia, obsession compulsive disorder, the OCD, and other disorders that can contribute. So when one has this problem, then it invites other conditions. I know that in Kenya, people have been talking about their sexuality and addiction. What happens is that the testosterone hormones are interfered with by this drug. They kind of interfere with our sexuality. And so they cause a problem with sexuality. And a lot of people in love sometimes complain, and it causes some what we call divorce or separation. So drug addiction is a disease, and it's a brain disease. And what happens is that when one is assisted to understand, then there's that desire to quit that will help you with this kind of condition. I'd like to continue next time and tackle more or delve more into the dynamics of addiction. Thank you very much. May God bless.